and welcome to the Phi Tribe Live. I hope you all are in the chat room. Say what's up. Got any questions? Put them in there. And welcome to the show tonight. This is the show where we talk about all the stuff related to the foundation of sound and sacred geometry and all the spooky things that are related to that make you go, ooh. We're going to talk about all the things that make the sleep programs work, all the people are commenting about how crazy they're sleeping. We're going to talk about that stuff today. So welcome to Phi Tribe. Get in the chat room.
Hello.
All right. Are we back around there now?
What's up?
What's up, everybody?
Hello.
So, yeah, welcome.
Yeah.
So,
I'm Mixed Mike.
And I am Ford.
And I am Jeff.
And we are Phi Tribe. We're actually missing one member. He's here in spirit. Brandon Thomas,
yes. From Expanding Reality.
Shout
out to Expanding Reality.
Also in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't join us today.
Shout out to Tejas.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, it's on you. What are we talking about today? You did the homework for us.
Just thought,
we made music and you did homework.
Yeah, I think I wanted to call this thing called Phi Love Empathy and really just talk about a little bit about how to love yourself deeper and more authentically. And I think that's just something I've been learning as I've been getting older, and maybe I can pass on some wisdom, some young bucks like Mike.
Yeah.
But I actually can probably learn a lot from him. I know I can. Well, I mean, I always do. But just I know that's something that has always impressed me about my relationship with you. Is you often talk about really digging deep to be authentic. And I think there are healthy and unhealthy ways to perceive love, and I think trying to drill down and understand what authentically loving, what it really is, not with the drama that comes with, everything our culture brainwashes us with. It has nothing to do with love.
Mm-hmm.
It has everything to do with attachment.
Yeah.
And a lot of toxic stuff. So that's I thought that'd be kind of interesting to jam that around, and then see how that works with Phi.
Well,
and how Phi works with love.
Love and Phi are one. They're the same thing. They're different. Phi is the mathematical expression of love. In a sense, it's all moving towards that. It's the movement towards that.
My math teacher never told me that.
My math teacher never told me that either.
Okay, well then teach us, teacher.
Right.
Mike,
no, my math teacher definitely never taught me anything like that. I did have a cool math teacher in 10th grade, and I did learn a lot about sacred geometry. Like, we had spent some time on sacred geometry. I think everybody does for a little bit. But she was obviously a little bit down the rabbit hole. And that's why she had me do a project for, I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember the whole thing. We had to do a project about relating shape and math to something. And of course, naturally, being me, I picked music, right? And so my project was about constructing these triangles that were different chords. So you had a G major triangle, and or if you wanted to do a 4-note chord, I had a square and stuff on it. And she was like mind blown. She had never thought about music being like geometrical, and I never really did anything with that until afterwards. I should have pursued that way deeper, way faster. It took me probably until like 2014 or 2015 to start getting back into that, so.
Yeah. I don't think there's I didn't get any sense of esoteric teachings in school. I think if I had gotten that, I would have been much more excited about school, but.
My 10th grade math teacher was just hilarious. I got D's in his class, but he's my favorite teacher because he's the guy that made me a dad joke connoisseur back when I was only in 10th grade.
He's the reason.
Mr. Matthews, wherever you are, rest in peace. But one of my favorites was why do they call the sport where you hit the ball back and forth over the net, why do they call it tennis?
I have no idea.
It should be called either to us or for us.
Boom.
Yeah,
And that's when I found my calling.
yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do geometry for crap, but I could tell bad jokes.
That's where
with the best of them.
Dad jokes was
That's
born.
where Bad Jokes was born.
And that was the place, huh? Yeah. That was it, huh?
Nice.
Well, we're talking about love, and people are going, well, what does love have to do with geometry? And why are we talking about geometry in high school? And what we're getting at is that the mathematical constant of phi is representative of the singularity. And the singularity is the substrate consciousness that lays beyond everything that we call fundamental reality. And when you can tap into that consciousness is an ocean of pure love, right? And that sounds so very hokey if you're really stuck in the left brain and aren't really familiar with what love is. But love is a very, very, very deep thing that is far more can be far more mathematical than you can possibly imagine, but is also a very philosophical and very right brain involved with emotions. Like emotions are just really highbrow mathematical processing. Kind of like the way to.
Well, I think emotions, it's a different way. It's like, I'm going to relate this to Robert Grant real quick. It's like squaring the circle. It's like you can make a circle with the same area as a square, and they're both telling you the same information, but by two totally different means. There's this finite square that has this definite shape, and then there's this infinitely different at every single point circle, and I think that's more emotions.
Yeah, and that's the masculine and feminine coming together.
Bingo.
Right? The square is the masculine, and the circle is the feminine.
Yeah.
And there's the love. They're right there. Is the
love. Yeah, I like one of my favorite analogies and I like to use this as my favorite because it used to be my least favorite because I was very left brain, scientific, if I can't prove it, it doesn't exist type thing. And, you always heard people say, especially, grandmas, like, oh, love's the most important ingredient in the food. And you're like, come on, grandma, love doesn't have a flavor. What are you talking about, But, it's not about, well, and partially it does matter, putting the love into the food, but it's also in the preparation. When you love something, you care for it and you carefully do stuff, and it's the difference between getting a head of lettuce and chopping it all off and throwing it in your salad, or getting a head of lettuce and chopping off all the nasty parts and only using the good stuff, and you know what I'm saying? It's that whole process.
The more of disconnecting us from that process of sacrifice, whether it be an animal or the vegetable, right? Or whatever it is that you're eating.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's important to a lot of cultures, particularly, say, Japanese culture, about ritual. The tea ceremonies, things that you do where you have a very formal process that you go from beginning to end, and it's very purposeful, and you do it enough to where you do it without thought, so it becomes a ceremony of timelessness. So you're totally in the now. You're without thought, and your intent is just to be totally devoted to what you're doing in that moment. And it's lost on us in kind of our modern lifestyle and the way that we do things. That it seems crazy. Why would you do that? Because I'm like you said, I'm the guy that cooks. I get that head of cabbage, and I'm chop, answering a text, going over here, pointing, just going crazy. And then, what is my meal like? What have I put into that meal? What was the intent? Well, it probably wasn't full of very much love. It wasn't full of very much intention. It was just thrown together, and that's how a lot of times we're consumed with living our lives that way. Just thrown together. And that's what I love about Phi and the soundtracks that you guys make, that I play all the time as background. It just helps me to ground.
It definitely does.
And that's loving myself, I think, when I allow myself to experience that.
The Phi music is grounding everything. It's balancing everything it comes in contact with. But getting back to what you're saying about blessing and the love and the food, that's That's really why you want to pray before you eat. And it's not praying to some external God. It's just to give thanks to the food that you're about to eat. That food is going to become you, you know? Everything you eat becomes you. So you might as well give it a little bit of thanks and send a little bit of love energy into it because it's about to become part of you.
And you become it, too.
And you become it. Yeah.
Well, and speaking about food, I'm kind of excited to let everybody know that we got some surprises that we're going to be working on the next few weeks. We've got a new Phi Tribe star who we're going to be working with that's going to teach us about different types of cooking and meal preparation that has to do with chakras and all kinds of cool stuff. That's also Phi Balanced. So that's something we're in development doing right now, and look forward to having something finished in a few months.
Yeah.
Phi
Balance your food.
The worst part about it is we're going to have to go down to Costa Rica for a week, so I hate to break that to you guys.
I know.
It's going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible. Work.
Ins in the chat says, about to hit up Taco Bell.
Right.
Yes.
Run for the
It's so
board.
funny because I actually eat a lot of Taco Bell, but I don't eat their meat. I eat everything just vegetarian there, and I feel like it never does me wrong.
Well, I enjoyed the heck out of that Ruth's Chris the other night. That cowboy steak.
Dude.
Yikes. It was good. But look, this is the main thing is just to give thanks. It doesn't really matter what it is that you're eating. I mean, it does matter what you're eating, but it's more importantly to put the conscious attention to it and send that energy of a positive thing into your system. I'm a firm believer that it's more about how you feel about what you eat than it is really what you eat so much,
Yeah. Did we talk about this the last time?
Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm a fat rock star musician.
Yeah.
So
No, but did I tell the story on our last thing about the company that did the study on the?
Yes. Wait.
Okay.
Let's get in. All right, hold on. Let's get into.
Did I tell the story? But
No, you did not.
Okay,
You
I
did not
didn't
tell the story. But I
Okay.
want to set this up because we're getting into what Jeff was saying. We were talking about blessing the food, and forgive me if I have this wrong. I'm not Jewish, but I'm pretty sure that this is the whole thing behind kosher food, right? Is that it's yes, there are different ingredients and things like that, but it's mostly that the meat is blessed or whatever the process is blessed in a certain.
It's also clean in the way that they sacrifice,
right,
and the way that they let the blood, because blood is everything.
Yeah,
it's the covenant, and so
the life force. Yeah,
it's a life force, and again, I'm not Jewish, and I don't mean to be wrong or anything, but from what I understand, think about it in the Jewish. It was all about blood is everything. Blood is the covenant. Blood is the sacrifice. The lamb is sacrificed, the innocent blood. And so the way that an animal is processed is what the kosher, there are rabbis that their job is to preside over and watch this whole processing.
Yeah.
That's what I understand. And so it is cleaner spiritually and cleaner, I guess at a germ level, I don't know, but that's part of the whole reason is they want it to be blessed holy, and then also blessed to be used in your body in a more in an easier way.
Sure.
And if there's anybody out there that really knows more than us about this, please
throw it in the chat. Throw it in the chat. So anyway, we were getting into that. We were talking about this, and then Mike came in and brought up this really interesting thing about the automated restaurants.
Well, yeah. Before we even get into that, though, I have one other thing I want to add to the conversation about blessing your food. Because in religion we're taught to bless our food. The only prayer that Jesus ever really told us to pray was essentially, give us our daily bread.
Yeah.
Give us today our daily bread, to bless your food. And coming from a purely more scientific standpoint on this is as a follow-up on Veda Austin's work and Masaru Emoto's work on water and intention and printing it onto water. Food is mostly water. And so you just take this moment, no matter what the food has been exposed to on the way to you, if you can take this moment to make this coherent thought really penetrate the food, I mean, you're undoing all this negative stuff about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're trying to create sympathetic resonance in the food.
In the food, right,
Yeah.
right. Because, it's rearranging, the thought process is rearranging the molecular structure of the water so that it's more bioavailable. It's healthier. It's better for you that way. So if you want a completely non-religious reason to start blessing your food, there's one right there.
Yeah.
And to even further that, I always forget. I look up the name of this company and I always forget it, and I can't remember the name of it. But so this it wasn't a fast food chain. It was a company that was like investigating like the fast food process and health and maybe if you guys know what I'm talking about, you can put this in the chat so I can remember. So they did all these tests to decide what made food more healthy. Was it fats? Is it vegetables? Is it this? They took all this data, and when they analyzed it, the thing that they found that determined the healthiness of the food or how bioavailable it was, and the least negative effects, wasn't anything to do with calories or fats or carbs or any of these things. It had to do, the biggest determining factor was whether it was prepared by humans.
Oh, that's right.
And the company was like, whoa, hold on. That can't be right. Like this has to be an anomaly or some artifact in the data. Like, let's do the study again and see what we get. So they did it again, and then they got the same exact result, and it was so mind-boggling to them. They didn't have an answer for it. They had no context for it because they're like, why in the world would that make a difference?
Wow.
But it's the same reason we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's because there's intention put into that food. We'll go to Waffle House and sometimes we're like, man, this is not made with love tonight.
Not today, right?
This
not today.
But every time we go in there, the crew's having a good time. Everybody's laughing. People are singing and everything. The vibe's good. The food is always amazing. Yeah. And it's Waffle House.
Right.
It's like the shittiest food you can possibly eat.
Just when you thought this isn't a commercial for Waffle House. Well, my favorite thing to do. My favorite thing to do when I go to Waffle House is when they say, "How you like your coffee?" I go, "Strong and black like Jesus."
Yes, exactly. I love it.
And if you know the history of Waffle House,
okay.
But here's the thing, though. Getting back to what you were talking about, because I think the reason why this is important to talk about is because McDonald's just launched their first automated restaurant. I think that's why we're having the conversation. So
that was
right. So what happens when you have a restaurant when there's no humans involved in preparing that? Do you need to have somebody there, like a human involved, to bless the food?
Well,
I know it's McDonald's, but
we've made
how far does automated cooking go?
First of all, is it true that it's fully automated, or
No.
I've heard that the second floor is where the people are. There are no employees down on the first floor,
right?
So they don't have to engage.
Okay, so
with
let's
the
say
consumer.
let's give it 8 months, 9 months.
Right.
A year.
Right. And then there's machines up there, and then there's machines up there.
Be chat 102 by September, probably.
But now here's the thing, though, is like you get 5 years of that down the road where all food's made by robots, and it's not going to be the same. It's like people saying, oh, well, people aren't going to be able to tell the difference between organic and whatever food. I can taste organic meat or non-organic meat like instantly. It has a totally different flavor.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to get there. I had to stop eating processed or food with a lot of antibiotics and stuff. But now I can't eat anything else. Corn-fed,
yeah.
Get the grass-fed.
Right, you got to get the grass-fed.
We're all pro-grass here, by the way.
Yeah.
We're very pro-grass.
Very, very progressive.
We like to cut the grass. We like to
and
smoke the grass.
The grass has got feelings too. So there's a sacrifice there too.
Yeah, that's why vegetarians are food killers too, right?
They are. All,
Yeah.
they are. You tell me that plant doesn't
Secret
have
Life of
feelings,
Plants.
right? It's
Secret Life of Plants.
Yes.
I challenge every vegan to check out Cleve Baxter's Secret Life of Plants and then tell me plants don't think and feel. Now, I'm not against a vegan lifestyle.
But it doesn't have a cute face, Mike. Sometimes it has a cute face.
Right, and
but-
it has to go down to, in my definite, in all the vegans that I know that are into veganism as a moral standpoint, and I don't care. You guys eat whatever you want. But don't be mad at me for eating what I want, But the most of the vegans I know that are in it for a moral standpoint basically break it down to, well, a plant doesn't have a nervous system, so it doesn't feel. And I think that it's like that's just how we decide things feel, but like we can measure these things about plants that indicate that they are living, feeling,
Vibrational,
thinking.
right?
But it's just not the way we look at it.
And
it's like,
psychic.
right, yeah, and, they clearly sense things about their environment that we don't think that they can do because they don't have a nervous system.
Like all that guy had to do was start thinking about the match, right?
Right.
And the plant freaked out,
Yeah, well, that's what. That's what his whole book is about, and then it goes even further. He kind of implies that plants even have empathy, like he gets these little baby tiny little shrimp, and he boils them alive next to the plant, and the plant freaking out just like if it was being lit on fire or chopping off its. It was the same thing.
Wow.
So it was feeling for the other living things,
Is that the book, or is he the guy where he talks about in root systems, healthy trees can sense unhealthy trees, and they somehow
Give them
root
nutrients,
together
yeah.
and deliver nutrition.
I don't think it's the same guy.
Okay, but I've heard that about plants as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy I'm talking about invented the polygraph test, the lie detector test, and then after he invented
Is that for parrots or?
for parrots?
Oh, the polygraph.
The polygram test.
But plants eventually said, "Hey, fuck this," because they started, these whole things called nightshades. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. They had this. They've created this poison within them called lectins that are poison to us humans and poison to animals, and it was a defense mechanism because they were tired of being eaten. So, they're even getting militaristic. So,
Yeah. Wasn't there that movie, that M. Night Shyamalan movie about the plants coming alive and killing everybody with some sort of pheromone or gas or something like that? Anyway.
Yeah,
the big
I don't
tomato
know.
plant.
They got sick and
that giant
tired.
Tomato. What's that
of
giant
being
tomato that rolled
mowed
over
with lawnmowers? And they said enough's enough.
So the chat be blowing up, y'all.
Oh, wait, time out. You hold up that thought for one
Okay,
thing.
yeah.
I would like once again to thank you guys very much for the beautiful tips we've been getting on the music videos and on our show, and the donations. They're just totally amazing. And I'm going to work on getting better about writing down a list of the people who are donating, because you guys, it really makes a huge difference. So thank you very, very much
Thank
for that.
you.
We
Thank
really,
you.
really thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to find a great way to reward you. We just haven't figured it out yet. Yeah.
Yes. Ends again in the chat says, "I'm in a blessed state of mind. Do I have to keep praying? Yes, of course, all the time.
Yeah.
Never stop.
Pray without ceasing.
Yeah, but pray. Think about the way you're praying. Don't be praying. I'm not. Look, you pray the way you want to pray, but praying towards something outside of yourself is. You should be praying towards. You should be more empowered by the way how you're praying. You take ownership of your prayer.
I think that's a good way to say it.
And prayer isn't necessarily a mental construct. It's a feeling that you carry throughout the day. You carry throughout, and it's that connection, the vibe with
Vibration.
the Phi,
Yeah.
and it's that.
It's putting something
it's
out
that it's
into
what
the
you it's
world.
what you do with your inner self and how you manage that vibrational. Are you constantly talking, or are you breaking that silence with either? Are you breaking that chatter with either a mantra or silence, and just having the vibe going? Because I used to be in a cult. I was religious. I needed my brain washed at the time, and it was some good brainwashing. But when I would pray, It was always about me, myself, and I. What do I need? I mean, could you imagine how neurotic it must be for God to hear everybody pray? Imagine, a big church like 10,000 people, and they pray
all at one time.
Yeah, and there's maybe there is probably a percentage in there of people that are earnestly, really connected and seeking God and truth and whatever. But everybody else is just, oh God, please don't let me be pregnant. God, please, help me get that new job so my wife won't leave me and I can get this car. I mean, it's such a mental construct, and I don't think that's the prayer or the intention we're talking about.
It's not.
Right.
The identity is wrong. Your personal identity is where you have to make that correction. It'd be like, you are the one. You and the one are one at a much higher level. So just like every cell in my body is the body. If you asked this skin cell, who are you? The skin cell will say, I'm the body. I'm Ford. This is who I am, right? So that's who you are with God. Just be like, how would this skin cell ask for whatever kind of oil or water it needed from the body? It would just request it because it's part of the body. This is what it needs, and you just do the same thing.
Well, I think you can even go to a different level. This is from something I heard from. I was listening to Tom Campbell. He says we are consciousness first. Mm-hmm. But then we are human beings playing through consciousness. So you're not even Ford.
Right. Yeah. There's nobody here. There's just this what's happening, and there's these three puppets that pop up, and then we all have this identity based on these ideas that pop up in our mind right now. But
right.
There's just what's happening. It's just what's happening, man. So
isn't that TV show with JJ and?
I thought it was Dynamite or whatever. I feel that was a long time ago.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
That was a great show. Great show. All right, what's going on in the chat?
Yeah, so Moonfeather Rising says, my food comes out bomb every time because I love to cook, and I'm making it for my kids. And my kids say my fettuccine Alfredo is fifth dimensional. Well, I think your kids are a little biased. No, I'm just kidding. No, really. Love is the most important ingredient. I'm telling you.
Yeah. That's the experience that they're creating in their mind. That it's that dope. I'm sure it is.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and every time you add ingredients, you're just putting all that loving intention in there.
Right. Yeah. Corey Thiessen says, "Why you wear skulls on your shirt? Corey, why you wear one inside of your face?"
Corey, if you want to know, the skulls in Buddhism represent impermanence. So I have a lot of skulls around me. They remind me of that everything is impermanent, and to cherish and love everything when it's here, because it's not going to last forever. So that's the deeper meaning of the skulls.
In many cultures, they're sacred. They're like very crosses sacred to other cultures.
Yeah, and Buddhism they're very sacred.
Yeah.
It's just a reminder,
G-Walk Root Beer says, "Shalom. Glad I'm catching it alive."
Right on, shalom.
Welcome.
Right on. I hope we got our stuff correct earlier.
Yeah, we needed you at the beginning.
Yeah,
we were talking about.
Dude?
Yeah, we needed you half an hour ago. All right, what else?
We were pretending we knew Judaism.
Yeah.
Let me see. Sorry, there's a lot of conversations going on here, and you guys keep throwing stuff in there. I love it when you guys get to connect with like-minded people. This is a great place to do that. Inns also says, plants have feelings? Serious question. I encourage you to check out Cleve Baxter's book, Secret Life of Plants. I can't. It's going to go as deep as you want to go. So there's that.
And of course, it was funded by a group of tomatoes and corn.
Big vegetable.
Big vegetable.
It was funded by Big Vegetable. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Follow the science.
It's a powerful lobby.
Yeah.
Follow the money.
New conspiracy.
Yes.
Well, I think trying to bring all of this down, talking about being authentic, and then authentically loving yourself, there's a difference between doing it in your mind and doing it from the heart. And that's where I was hoping we could try to steer this ship tonight, was when you get in touch with the singularity, or the one, or when you're out of your mind and you're loving authentically, and you can see a clearer picture of yourself, and you can see the foibles of, man, I'm always living in my mind, I'm always living in my brain, I'm always living in my, and I put myself down, I hate myself for this, I think I come up short for that. And that's when you start learning to love yourself authentically and realizing none of that matters, because none of that is the Phi or the singularity or the one. That's all my human beingness. That is not my consciousness. It's not my divine spirit. It's not my true love. And that's where I think I've been learning, at least for myself, to just be so much more forgiving. And I just laugh at myself like, God, you are so ridiculous, Jeff. I mean, and it's such a lighter life to have, because I don't take myself serious anymore. Yeah. And I think that's part of becoming, authentic.
Authentic,
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
everybody else laughs at me, so now I laugh at myself. So
authenticity is what the universe craves. It's what it supports.
Absolutely.
If a tree decides to not be a tree, what happens? It dies and it moves on to something else. I mean, what the universe needs from any one person or anything at all is for it to be itself and nothing else,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I am the poster child for diving in and learning how to love yourself no matter what. And I could tell you from this side of the fence that it is by far the most important thing you will ever do in your life. I would say that it is the meaning of life, is to dive into the deepest parts of you and learn to love every single aspect of you. Because when you do, there's an integration that happens, and that integration is the full you coming to the surface. And when that marriage happens between your shadow side and your light side, you harness the power of your full self. And I could tell you that the most powerful I ever felt in my entire life is when I decided to accept myself. Like I walk in the room, it was just electric. And it was undeniable, and it'll be like that for you too. It's amazing, and it's the most authentic thing there is. It's just pure authenticity, and with the authenticity there's a shame component. It's what it is. You're overcoming this shame component, and shame is the lowest vibration. And when you can overcome that vibration, it no longer has any power over you, and that's where the power comes from.
You wrote a song. We have it. It's in our playlist. It's on the videos by an artist named Beauty Scar.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted you to give that song to me to sing, because the lyrics on that, I just love it. You say, get out of your head, get out of your head, get out of your head. So is that come from your personal experience on learning to live yourself authentically?
No, I didn't write the lyrics to that. I
thought you did.
I just made the music. Yeah,
okay.
That was all Beauty Scar. So props out to him.
Yeah.
For those lyrics.
But still, I love just that visual of getting out of your head, because when you're stuck in your head, you can't love yourself, because the brain can't love.
No, the brain. Oh, that's very good. I like that. That's a powerful thing. Yeah, and true. Totally true.
Yeah. No, there's no justification.
So what are techniques that either one of you guys do to get out of your head and to get into your heart when you recognize, hey, I'm not in the right place?
That's hard. That's hard.
For me, there's triggers. Anything. Look, this took years of development and self work to get to a place where I'm at now. But now it's like, the roller coaster never ends, no matter how much you wake up. The roller coaster is always happening. But what happens now is if I'm jarred into this thing that's upsetting, that feeling of being upset instantly brings me to the present moment. Mm-hmm. And you just use it that way. Use these events that quote unquote trigger you, and instead of being triggered, just go, oh, it's all here to test me. It's only the present moment, and all of this is here to test me.
So do either of you ever recognize when you're resisting something, and instead of just saying, okay, this is how it is, you're fighting it like, damn it, I don't like this. Damn it, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
all the time.
that's lack of, to me, that's lack of love, because you're resisting something. And when you just accept it and say, okay, this is how it is, that's flipping the switch now to love, because you're in acceptance, you're in alignment.
And you're trusting. You're in trust that it's going to be okay.
And it may not seem like a great circumstance at the time, but in the bigger picture of the universe, is everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. We win.
Yeah. There's I think these are like calls to action. There are these moments in life where we're called to step up to be our full human. Our whatever reason we're here to be a human, we're called to step up to be that full humanness. That is the beginning of the hero's journey that Joseph Campbell talks about so much. And you either choose to step into that and go on that hero's journey, or you're just a passenger, which is fine. You can be in the audience and just be in the audience, but everyone in the world has that opportunity to step up to their inner hero and take that plunge, take that step of faith and go for it. And man, it's life-changing. It'll totally change your life if you do it.
And I love how Jordan Peterson, I think, took that baton from Campbell, and a lot of those hero journey stories that, whether they're biblical, because he goes through a lot of them in the Bible, and just how, you just got to face your shit.
Yeah.
And don't feel sorry for yourself.
Totally, you gotta do it. And what we're talking about too, by the way, Joseph Campbell, if you're not familiar, Hero with 1,000 Faces. This is the power of myth. Joseph Campbell, hands down, one of the top 2 or 3 books I've ever read in my life. I highly recommend everyone read that book, because it can be applied to your life in so many ways.
And if you're not into reading, he does have a series of interviews about all that. That if you just type in Joseph Campbell, Power of Myth, I'm sure they're on YouTube.
Yeah, they'll all pop up. Yeah.
What if you're not into listening or reading?
Well, then you're SOL. Then you're going to be watching Netflix, and that's okay too. There's no judgment. You're probably not into this show either.
Then you're definitely not watching this. Right? Yes. Let's see here. Let me do some catch up. Let's see here. We got LB Square says Jeff is a good cook. Are you?
Oh, LB, my muse, my love.
LB is a good cook for a vegetarian.
Well,
I love vegetarian food.
Well, you know what's interesting about her? She's the least judgmental person I've ever met. Who, she goes back and forth between vegan and vegetarian, but it's never made me feel inadequate about any food choices that I make.
She sat next to me the other day when I was cutting open my steak, and like blood shot out, and she was just like,
right. But where I always chide her a little bit is I go, how was your vegetarian meal tonight? And she goes, if we're at a restaurant like that night, she goes, oh, it was delicious. I go, yeah, I bet your Prada bag felt so too.
That's terrible. That is so wrong. Oh my God.
My God.
I don't know how you do it. I really don't.
I love you, Lisa.
Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Oh, Joel, what up, homie?
Joel!
He said, thank you for the compliment on my jacket. Area code says forgiveness of self and others starts healing. Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Oh, man.
Great point.
So true. Ho'oponopono.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ho'oponopono. Is that been released yet?
Not yet. It's done. I haven't.
Okay, I forgive you.
Okay.
Forgive yourself.
I do forgive myself.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
I forgive myself and you for forgiving me. So yeah. All right.
What are some other great pieces of advice from the chat room on how to love yourself? How to love yourself deeper?
Yeah.
If you guys got any words of wisdom,
what do you do?
Drop them in there. What do you guys do?
What do you do to love yourself?
Yeah.
I know some people, it's like, hey, I treat myself to, great Starbucks, or I go get my nails done. I think those are still very good, loving things to do to yourself.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be, it's not all about how deep and esoteric we can make the
Yeah.
conversation.
I mean, it's the most the most wisdom I get is from just taking a walk with my dog in the park. That's where a lot of the ideas come to me when I'm just on that walk and in the forest, and it's like it's all speaking to me.
He's really trying to be a part of this right now. He's underneath the table.
So Atlas didn't want to do Atlas Cam tonight. He's hiding under the table, so something's up. I'm not sure.
I wouldn't describe that as hiding, because Atlas is not something. He's not an object that can be hidden.
No,
He's 160
he weighs
pounds
as much
so.
as me. Yeah.
In fact, the table's moving, as I'm pretty sure of it.
Ends says, waking up grateful. Yes, gratitude is one of the highest vibrations you can.
Yes.
You can, if you can constantly be in a state of gratitude. Wow, kudos to you.
Great point.
And
That's
a little
a lot
plug
of
here.
power.
Every single one of our sleep songs has got a little gratitude alarm at the end, where it goes through a whole bunch of affirmations of gratitude.
Oh, and somebody was bitching about that today on the comments. They were like, man, I was sleeping so good, and then that alarm came on.
Well, the alarm. Look, the morning comes. We're not. It's not our fault that morning comes.
Yeah, and it's either the alarm or
A commercial.
yeah, a Chevy, a Ford, build Ford tough.
Ford tough.
What are you trying to wake up?
Sleep
to,
Ford tough, maybe.
Sleep Ford tough.
Well, and I told that person, hey, instead of using the 8-hour third eye deep sleep, use the new 9-hour.
That's right. We have a new 9-hour.
But that
version.
still has an alarm at the end too, right?
No, that one I did not. Wait, did I do the alarm? No, I don't think I did the alarm.
So the
See, I
answer,
forgot.
the answer's already there.
Yeah, there's so many I forget. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, we forgive you. Don't be so hard on yourself.
In
Well, I do. I do bust your chops a lot for being hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think we all get in patterns throughout life, and a lot of times. So Ford here, she's the most amazing producer, and her skill set. When you sit in here and you see all this equipment and the Pro Tools, which is the computer software that you create all these sounds and tunes with, she's like a magician. How she can just set stuff up, get multi-channel. I mean, we're doing like 80, 90 channels of things, and there'll be like a 15-second lag, and she'll say, "I'm sorry, I'm taking so long. Bear with me." And I go, God. I say, you realize how good you are? But we are habitual creatures of self-ridicule.
I spent 30 years in the music business working with divas, fix it in the mix, and I'm going to go do 10 more lines of blow,
Fix it in the mix.
How
You're the
much
producer,
blow does it take to fix a mix?
You're the producer. You fix it. You sing it correctly.
Well, all I'm saying is,
I get you.
We
You're right.
all, and I do too.
There are patterns that we learn. I think for me, I learned from my parents. My mother particularly, she was very much like, I'm sorry, that kind of thing. Holy, wait a second.
Ends, you're the
Wait
man.
a second. We
And
got
I feel like I got
hold the phone here for a second. Hold a minute. We just got a $50 tip from Ends. What is it?
From Ends, yeah, dude.
Ends.
Appreciate that.
Oh,
ENNZ.
You rock.
Ends.
You
You're
rock.
the man.
You rock.
Thank you.
But to get to your question, Ends, because I was just waiting for them to finish. Wait, where did it, guys? Ends says, do you guys believe life will put you in the same situation to see if you learned the lesson, lead you to acceptance, a part of forgiveness topic? Yes.
Yes.
No, I don't think you learn a lesson
100%.
until you have to. No. Passing the test the first time is just the first. You got to do. For me, it's always 3.
Yeah.
It's always 3. I always got to do something 3 times before it's no longer
I
a
would
test for
agree.
me anymore.
Yeah.
But that's me and my personal thing. It might be a one and done thing for you. I think it's probably different for everybody. But
it could be
I do think
multiple lives.
could be multiple lives. But I do
Yeah.
think. I do think things do come back around to visit, good and bad, not just bad stuff, or not just tests, but rewards come back around in waves. Kind of like an earthquake always has aftershocks. I think anything big, whether it's good or bad, always has a little echo. later
Well,
on.
who are the cats you guys dig that talk about that from the the mathematical standpoint? There's the butterfly effect, or is this whole mathematical construct of a butterfly flaps its wings, it causes eventually a hurricane. So I mean, mathematically, every thought, every action, there's a mathematical kind of equation or predictor that, I mean, I don't know if it's Grant or, I mean, bail me out here, but who are some of the, I mean, there's guys that write books about that type of math affecting everything in life, decisions, actions.
Yeah, well, everything
loops,
has
patterns.
everything has an opposite and equal reaction. I think, but
well-
there's also like the butterfly effect. Like, have you ever seen somebody set up dominoes where one's like really tiny and then the next one's just a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger, but then down the line there's like 1,000-pound domino, and that little tiny one that only weighs a few grams ends up knocking over the 1,000-pound domino. It's that same kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say that the patterns are fractality, because
Yes.
everything's fractal, And let me get back to that person's question too, because and this may not feel good to some of you, and it may be the thing that you need to hear that gets you to kick your ass into gear a little bit, but you can't kill yourself and escape this life. Because what's going to happen is you're going to wake up maybe in the hospital or in your bed, unsuccessful, because there is no death, and you're going to have to do it again, and everything that was pissing you off and driving you to that place of feeling like you want to kill yourself is just going to be one notch louder. And it's going to keep doing that until you decide to face your problems. That's because that's what we're here for. That's the whole point of being here. You're here to grow. And if you're not growing, it's just going to get heavier and louder and more awful. And, that's just what it is, Now, you can use that and feel sorry for yourself, or you can just step up to the plate, step into your being, and have faith and trust in yourself that we're never given more than we can handle, and I firmly believe that we're never given more than we can handle.
Yeah.
And if you got a lot on your plate, it's because you're really good at this and you just forgot.
Yeah. Funk Robot. Hey, what up, homie? That's Phil, the bass player.
Oh, right on, Phil. What's up, man?
Phil, what's up, dude? We need to get you back in here so we can finish some more Phi Balanced funk music.
Yeah. We had the best funking jam ever.
My
We
gosh,
were
it's
just
so
funking out one
good.
night, and it was like 2 hours went by, and we're like, we were just playing one song for 2 hours. It was crazy.
Yeah, so we got a lot of cool stuff with. He says he would love to, fellas.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been busy, man. We've been
Yeah.
super busy. We definitely been talking about getting you back over here, though. I forget what I was just saying before that, though. What were we just talking about?
I don't know.
Suicide.
Suicide, yeah.
Yeah,
we were
but that
talking
was leading somewhere.
the suicide is no escape.
Don't do
We
it.
were saying that. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
You're not doing
Oh
anything
no,
for
it was
yourself.
Enz's question. Oh yeah, which was ultimately about lessons, about learning lessons. Yeah, I mean life is everything's a test. Life is always a test. You're never going to escape it, but you always have that opportunity. Oh, that's what I was going to say is in Joseph Campbell's books about the monomyth, the hero story, there's always a part of the story that kind of preludes the story, which is the hero being in this paradisial state. Everything's great, everything's good and cool and yada yada, and they're always thrown into this thing.
Like Job.
Like Job, or
Right.
like almost any hero at all.
Like you and me. And
Like
like
me.
Ford.
Like me, yeah, I do.
Right.
That's what those myths are for.
And, it'd be a really boring story. Lord of the Rings would be a really boring story if the whole thing was them in the Shire drinking beer and having fun. I mean, like,
Telling stories.
I can do that right now. Like, I don't need to read a book about it. You know what I'm saying? So I just encourage people to jump into that thing that sounds scary. Like,
Yeah.
that's what makes a good
Yes.
story. That's what
Yes.
makes that story. That's what makes
Yeah.
it a story worth telling later on to people.
It's all about the story. It's all about
And
the
coming
story.
from the retired king of self-pity and just bitch about everything. You talk about divas. Man, I was the biggest diva.
The diva's diva.
Oh yeah. And my whole life and just patterns in my thinking, just such a and then once those patterns are interrupted by things that jar you, like when you're on a hero's journey, challenges and finally facing your shit and then finally overcoming stuff instead of running from stuff. Mm-hmm. That's, to me, when you that's authentically loving yourself, is when you finally make a stand and look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I'm sick of what I've seen and what I've felt and what I've been, but I know that there's something better in here, and I'm turning towards that, and I'm going to admit to all my faults, admit to all my shortcomings, and again, once you can do that, kind of let yourself off that cross, then ease and flow, and things start to seem happening for you because you've realigned your mind, you've realigned your heart, and then you don't need to be a whiny little bitch because life is really good.
Yeah.
So that's my.
Yeah, no.
Were you ever a whiny little bitch, Mike?
Oh, I have definitely been a whiny little bitch. Yeah.
I know. I don't have to ask for it because I know she's a
sure.
whiny. She's a whiny bitch.
I'm whining right now.
Oh my God.
You got any cheese?
No, I knew that happiness was a choice.
Yeah.
When I saw people that had nothing, had absolutely, with my own eyes, I saw people that had nothing, and they were in a better mood than me. And I was like, oh, well, they're obviously making a choice to be happy. Happiness is a choice, for sure.
Totally.
But same is guilt and shame and all those other things, too.
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of people tend to ask questions like, well, how do I stop thinking like that? Well, it's not about stopping anything. It's about starting something else. And I think the easiest way to do that is through what we like to call Phi. But to make it something a little bit more tangible is that there's a pathway for it, There's a way to start forming healthier patterns. There's a way to start forming healthier thoughts. There's a way to start, forming a healthier lifestyle.
I think that starts with catching yourself. Just catching yourself. Like if walk around and you'll have some kind of crazy thought that goes on your mind, and you're just stop for a minute and go, who's saying that? Who's saying that crazy thing to me that tells me I'm worthless, or is judging this person in front of me in the line that I don't even know, or whose voice is that? And just if you can have that wherewithal to be like, wait a minute, I'm not that mean, terrible person. Who's saying those things to me?
Right.
Just doing that is enough. You don't even have to think about 10 things that are good. You don't have to replace it. Just go, oh,
catch yourself.
There you are. I see you. There you are. That's not who I am. That's not who I want to be. And that's it. And then you keep catching yourself, and all of a sudden those things will stop popping up.
And we're not saying that the struggle isn't real, and
it's
that the
hard.
pain
that
isn't
it
real.
doesn't ever stop.
And that's the beauty of what Jordan Peterson's work and Joseph Campbell is that life is brutally hard.
Yeah.
Life is brutally hard. We are lulled into some sense of a morbid separation from reality, that life is very hard, and that's why so many people today are emotionally unwell, because life has become so easy. Life survival, if you look past like 100 years ago, survival was completely different than survival is for us today, and how hard you had to work, how hard you had to toil. Just the brutality of life, that's been taken away. And I think a lot of people don't know how to cope with it, and that's why we have so much emotional difficulty right now, because things are so easy.
Yeah.
but we make it so it's not easy. You know, in our head, oh, this isn't easy. This is hard.
Yeah, you're going to turn everything into the difficulty. The mind is going to make a puzzle out of everything and make everything a challenge to you. When the mind is bored, it's going to make itself unbored by creating a problem. You know.
So how I think Mike brought up an interesting point, and I was going to ask you guys, well, if you notice, if you catch yourself, you have some of these things you want to work on, and how can listening to Phi Balanced, some of the programs that we have, how can you integrate that into the work that you're doing, and use these as tools to help you get closer to your goal of, like, let's say you have a lot of self-doubt and a lot of you just look in the mirror and you really just are miserable with yourself.
Let me give a short answer to that real quick. All right, it's a short answer, and then we'll let Mike explain it more technically. Phi, as we said at the beginning of the show, that Phi is to 1 and 1 is to Phi. So Phi represents love. Through sympathetic resonance, when you're next to love, things that aren't love can't vibrate near you. It's like a repulsion. It repels anything that isn't love. Now that I know how that sounds like, well, we can't quantify love, but yes, we can. We can quantify what it is, but it's too deep to get into that right now. But it can totally be quantifiable, right, Mike?
Yeah.
So sympathetic resonance really basically is what we're talking about. So to answer your question, through sympathetic resonance, when you're close to love, which is what all of this Phi Balanced music is, those other things fall away. They can't take root here because the vibration's off, the resonant frequency's off.
You stole my catchphrase.
Oh, I did. What I did?
Sympathetic resonance. That's what I'm supposed to say. No,
that's right. That is your catchphrase.
No, I just said it like 1,000 times the last time we got on here. But no, you're right. That's it. Sympathetic resonance. You attract what you are. And it may not be what you think you are either. It's very hard to see yourself for who you are. Truly.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think if we all knew exactly who we were, we would know exactly why we deal with the situations we deal with. But the fact that we don't is where there's the lesson. There would be no lessons if we knew everything, So you have to have that external. You have to have that internal battle so that it can manifest in your external life, so that you can overcome something externally as a representation of overcoming it internally, and vice versa.
As above, so below.
But we talk about sympathetic resonance, and the best way to put it is, like, if you want to change the world around you, just change yourself. If you change yourself, the world around you will change.
Yeah, that's truer words have never been spoken.
And if you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It's all perspective and reality.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the same thing. I said it better.
Oh, man. Carolyn says, George Carlin said something along the line, stay out of your head. It's a bad neighborhood.
That's great. That's so great. That's so awesome. That's great.
Yeah. Also, Jennifer Green one says, love you guys. We love you.
We love you.
Thank you for coming and hanging out.
We love you.
Life is the magic mirror on the wall. Yes. It is.
100%.
Love
yes.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great one. That is a great one.
Yeah, if you don't like something in your life, just treat it like a mirror. You can't change it out here. You can only change it in here. So if people are coming into your life that you wish they would treat you differently. In fact, someone was going on in the chat room about this today. They were like, my life would be perfect if it wasn't for these rude customers that come in. They're just so rude and awful to me. And I'm just like, well, send them love. The minute you stop reacting to it, that's when they're gonna stop, coming in and doing their thing, having their effect on you.
Yeah.
Or you can be a Southern belle and insult them with such a politeness that they don't even realize they're being insulted. That's a Southern belle thing.
Welcome to Georgia.
Welcome to Georgia.
I declare.
Yeah. If you guys got any questions, please don't forget, put them in the chat. We're going to get to them as soon as we can.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Well, how are we doing? We've been on here for an hour. We were trying to make an effort
after last week's like
2.5
hour
saga.
Yes.
People were like, I could have watched the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, this is not Lord of the Rings extended edition. I'm sorry. This is just Phi Tribe Live.
Yeah, my kids they used to hate New Year's Day because that's when our family had the tradition of watching all 3 Lord of the Ring director cuts.
I couldn't even watch the last one at one time. It's like 4.5 hours. They should have split it up into 6 movies, and then never done the director's cuts. That would have been way easier to do.
Oh, it was
whatever. They're still some of the greatest movies ever made.
It's paradise.
Yeah,
it's my happy place.
Jennifer Greenwood says, "I'm new here. What are y'all about?" We are Phi Tribe, and we make Phi Balanced music. We use a proprietary technology to help make you guys feel better, honestly. If you go to our channel and check out some of the stuff, you'll find that there are sleep tracks. So we use our technology and our sleep tracks to help you sleep better. We also use our technology to help you study better. We have stuff for anxiety, PTSD,
migraines.
I know I'm forgetting a host of other ones.
PTSD,
broken toe.
We don't have one for that.
Well, you know what? We have a pain relief one, which is 174.
There we go.
So good.
Yeah. And backed by Harvard Science, by the way.
I was just imagining. I went through a broken toe healing the other night. You guys ever imagine going through like a?
I've
healing?
actually had a broken toe, but I've ever.
But have you ever imagined going through like a healing session and it never really happened?
Yeah, someone was just telling me about this. Wait a minute. It was you.
I forgot we were going to tell that story today. I totally got
wild.
Yeah, so what was this? Monday night?
Yeah.
It was Monday night? Was it Monday night or Sunday night?
Tuesday night.
You called me Tuesday to talk about
I called you, so it was Monday night. Yeah, it was Monday night. Monday night, I went to bed and was hanging out in the bedroom. And, as a kid, I've seen shadow people, if you will, but I don't really see them that often. And I kept hearing like stuff in the room, right? Yeah, that kind of stuff. And then kept seeing these weird shadows. And for some reason, I don't even know why. I was sleepy, and admittedly very stoned. But so I'm sitting there and I'm like, what are y'all doing? For some reason, I thought it was Jeff. I thought Jeff came over with Ford's sister, of all people. Yeah, and you were there, and then I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, you can just come talk to me instead of sneaking around my room. And then, so I'm like, okay. So I turn off the lights and I'm just sitting there. And then, out of the closet comes Jeff. He walks over to me, and it's Jeff. This is Jeff. I know it's Jeff. This is not
and it's totally normal for them to come out of the closet.
No, it's not normal at all. But I just allowed it to happen. It was weird. Okay, I'm just like, let me just see where this is going. And
was I wearing clothes at least?
Thank goodness you were wearing clothes.
Jeez.
Yeah, so you came over to me, and then you started doing this kind of over my body. I'm like, oh, we're just doing this secret Reiki session
in the middle of the night without telling you. And
yeah,
coming out of the closet to perform.
Yeah. So at any rate, yeah, I was there for it. I was like, okay, cool. This is interesting.
Did your head spin and do a full 360 or anything like that?
No, I didn't do a full 360. I just sat there, and it's pitch black in the room, so that I can only see shadows. You know what I mean? But I could
see the black shadows in the black room.
Yeah, I could see black shadows in the black room. Except you were like doing this whole Reiki thing, and you were like, I say it's you. It wasn't you. It was somebody. It was
My
a
doppelganger.
spirit, if you will,
My higher-
manifesting
my higher
itself
self.
as you
My higher self.
Jeff's doppelganger.
for the sake of familiarity or something. I don't even know. But anyway, I just
Did I crack any bad jokes? Any
no.
no,
I
no
should
phall-
have.
no
I
references to
should
phallic
have.
shapes or
No, I should have known it wasn't you when you didn't. When there wasn't a dick joke
Yeah.
involved.
Now I know I'm dreaming.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I'm like just I just let everybody do Reiki on me. But what was really crazy was y'all kept leaning into my ears and whispering "I love you" over and over and over again, which is one of the reasons why I was letting it happen. Like I was enjoying it. It was. I woke up the next day feeling amazing. I will say that, but it was really weird because like, I fell asleep and then I woke up like I haven't slept that long. I slept for like 14 hours or something, you know?
Yeah.
And I woke up and I was like, whoa, okay, that's weird. And because, Ford, I thought you were there too. Like there was no conversation. Like there was no conversation about it that night. It wasn't a, hey, Mike, we're doing Reiki on you tonight. It just happened and I didn't want to like destroy the moment or whatever. So I just let it happen. But then I fell asleep and then I woke up and then y'all aren't there or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that was interesting. So I come out of my room and like Ford's like hanging out in the living room. I'm like, everything seems very normal. And I sit down. And I'm like feeling really weird because I'm like, we just not gonna talk about this or anything? So I'm like, Ford, like, so about last night, and Ford's like, what about last night? I'm like, what do you mean? Ford's like, yeah, what about last night? I'm like, wait, y'all weren't in my room doing Reiki on me? As if that was supposed to be a normal thing.
That's so normal. Yeah.
Oh my God!
And no, you never do Reiki with anybody who isn't willing and knows what's going on. Just so you know,
I
just
invited it.
yeah,
It was like it was not an involuntary Reiki session. Like this was like there was consent involved.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, it was whatever. I felt amazing since then.
It could have been. What do you think the chances are that it was the Greys dressed up as Jeff? And
it very well could have been.
Well,
but I don't fucking know. But what are Greys anyway?
I don't know.
well,
No one ever touched me. There was no physical contact. So I don't know if they were just shadows, if it was a complete hallucination, or if it was something real.
It
felt real. It felt
was-
very, 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 very real. And I'm not the type of person that's like, I mean, y'all know me.
Yeah,
I'm over
yeah.
here like, whoa, if it can't be science.
He's a little too rational. So
Well, it's just
Right.
interesting. Like I think you probably called me about 5 or 5:30 that day, and you couldn't have been more solemn in saying, "Hey, you were in my house. You came over last night, and you were in the bedroom with Ford's sister and Lisa, and you guys did Reiki on me last night, right?" And I was just like, I had to think back. For some reason, I was just like,
how hot was I last
Wait,
night?
well, I mean,
did I do
that's a pretty well thought out, kind of question, and I just want to make sure that I was like, because I remember, I watched like Planet of the Apes last night, so I wasn't with you. What are you talking
Take your
about?
damn hands off of
And
Michael.
he said, no, you were in, you guys were here, you guys were doing a Reiki, and I go, well, I mean, no, but it sounded like you had an incredible experience. And another guy that we work with, musically here, our friend Randy, he is having similar situations that he's been sharing with me. In fact, he
no way.
maybe next week gonna come on a show with us and just talk about these paranormal things that are happening to him. And as he's done some research, particularly with his family, he's found out that his grandmother had a lot of I would say experiences in her life and was able to see things and do things, things that a lot of people can't do. And he's getting these same kind of gifts and openings and downloads. And so that's what that's kind of how I look at it from my experience with other people that go through these things. You had some sort of a spiritual download, which obviously was good for you because of how you feel. And I just think that's a really cool experience. And those experiences, I know, I'm the hub of, and I know hundreds of people that have all these great experiences. I never have any of them, even when I try.
Well, here's the thing: is when I was a kid, I had some experiences somewhat similar to that, but because of my strong Christian upbringing, I was always told that that's it's demons and blah, it's all this negativity around. Right, it's all this negativity about it, but like,
here's to my sweet Satan.
I mean, so I don't think so. There was a long period of time where I didn't have experiences like that because my subconscious didn't want to let it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think more recently, in the last, especially couple of years, I've been putting a lot of that programming, undoing a lot of that programming and learning a lot of new things and learning what things really are. And I think that has opened up some pathways and doorways for certain experiences that I looked at as traumatic as a younger me, but now I view them with new eyes and they're not traumatic, so I'm allowing them back in,
Yeah, totally.
Or at least that's how I'm justifying it.
Ford, I thought she had an interesting take. She said, for what you've been on board here about 2 or 3 months now, full time. What has you been part of the tribe here, and you've probably never done. Your body has probably never been exposed and absorbed so much Phi balancing, just day after day after day after day, and so there are some sympathetic resonance or whatever.
Yeah. No,
that are happening with you.
It is true.
In a cellular level and maybe even a spiritual level that's allowing some balancing and it's manifesting as these people who love you. You trust all the people that were in the room. Mm-hmm. Obviously, because you didn't say, "What the fuck are you? Get the hell out of." It's a good thing you didn't come to us one day and say. I'm just glad he didn't call and go, "Hey Jeff, last night did we have an orgy last night in my room?" I'm glad it was a Reiki healing session.
Right.
Thank God.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God.
Oh, not another one.
What were you just saying, Joe? I was about to comment on something. You threw me off with the orgy thing. You were just saying.
Well, I was just saying. Ford was just pointing out that your body has never received so much.
Right. Not in such concentration. I mean,
you've been creating a lot of Phi tracks.
Yeah. I've been creating Phi tracks in mass, and not just that. I mean, I've been creating what we now call Phi Balanced stuff for a long time, but it was never Phi Balanced then. Mm-hmm. It was just experiments in these realms, and then it has turned into this. So, I mean, I've been making Phi Balanced music for whatever, the last probably 8 years or something, much like Ford has, but in mass, I've made more Phi Balanced music in the last 6 months than
particularly
I have.
too, because they're like droney sleep songs, so it's just and you can, I know a lot of things.
Right,
weird
they're
stuff's
8 hours
happening.
long, and I gotta listen to the whole 8 hours of it.
many times.
Holy cow!
Over and over and over and over again. Yes.
So for everyone who thinks they've listened to the songs more than we have, and I'm just kidding. It's not a contest. It's really not.
It's a contest.
It would be interesting, either tonight or just anytime, anybody that are having these cool kind of experiences, leave messages on the YouTube.
There's been quite a few of that stuff in the chat. People talking about all kinds of crazy paranormal experiences that they're having, and I don't know how much of it is the Phi Balance, and then how much of it is just that there's this awakening happening, for lack of a better word, and I think a lot of people are being suddenly forced to face these different aspects of themselves that they weren't asked to face before, you know? To be fair, you and I are much older than Mike, you know, and we've been awake to a lot of the stuff for a long time, and Mike has been too. We're still older, and I know that when I was younger, I went through similar types of just very weird paranormal things that just really tested my ability to be rational. How can I be rational when these things are happening to me? You know, but they're undeniable happening. You know, and that was like really, that was the beginning of me kind of moving away from science a little bit. It's like, oh, okay, science has got a lot of the important stuff figured out, but there's a lot of stuff it can't explain, and this is
got the material side figured out.
How does science would explain my experience as psychosis?
Yeah,
get the white
lucid
jackets.
Dream.
No, I was and here's the thing.
That's how they would.
Let me be very
it,
clear. I was awake. Like there was no. I mean, I was tired because I was laying in bed, but I was very, very alpha state awake. Like there was no weird. I didn't even have any Phi Balanced music going. I think I had like Ghost in the Shell on. You know what I mean? So it's like, no, I wasn't watching anything that would be putting me into some weird brain state or anything like that. So I was I felt like it's very random.
Well, you know, where you had me though, you were telling me that it was like they're pulling stuff out of you, like this stuff. And I could relate so strongly when you said that, like the experience that I had gotten up early in the morning and went to the bathroom, and it was just super early in the morning, was not on drugs, and this sun flew into the window of the bathroom, and like you were saying, it didn't make any sense, but for some reason I didn't object. It was totally normal for the sun to fly into the window, you know?
Well, and if you describe as you describe the people pulling things out, and again, I've never had a paranormal experience, but I know a lot. Like I meet every healer there is, and that's I don't know why that is, but I've been with some very powerful healers, and they actually are pulling cords out of your body, and a lot of times they'll have a crystal, and they'll sever the cord, and those cords a lot of times are connections that you've had with other humans, because every time. What they tell me is every time you come into contact with somebody, you connect with a spiritual cord. And, you know, let's say you're with somebody that forever and it's very unhealthy or super toxic. Well, you've built tons of these cords. And if you can be on opposite sides of the planet and these cords still attach you. And so a lot of times in healing, they are removing and severing those cords and then pulling them out of you. So when you say you saw that
pulling
Mike,
out.
when you saw that pulling, you know, I don't know if that's what it was or not, but that's what I used to see a lot of.
And it was really interesting because everything they pulled out was from my third eye. It was all from my head. It was all from the top of like right here. I didn't feel anything. I expected to kind of feel something. Didn't feel anything. I could just see this brown, like it looked like mustard color.
Yeah, that's exactly
dirty mustard.
I wrote about this experience in my book, the same thing, and it was like I called it like a dirty honey. It was like a very gross, sticky thing that was coming out of my third eye, and the sun was in front of me, and it was pulling this stuff out of my head, and then it flew away into the thing. But like Mike was saying, it was totally normal when it was happening. You know what I mean? It didn't.
Yeah, that's a different thing than what I was describing. So now I get why you were talking about the sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was my own interpretation of something that seemed to be very, very similar to what you're describing.
But it's also trippy that you both have the same experience and you haven't spoken to each other about it.
No,
it's not like not like he's ripping you off for your experience.
Mine was January 2008 is when it happened.
Right.
We didn't even know each other.
Didn't even know each other. And Mike hasn't read my book yet, so he wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird.
Maybe you ought to read her book and find out what the hell's going on, Mike.
He's already heard it. I've already talked about my life and everything so many times. But
Some questions in the chat. Nora says, question, apparently I created diabetes type 1 when I was 21 years old because I wanted to stay away from school and teasing. Since then, it has stayed in balance 15 years. Whoa, what just happened to the chat? Oh, here we go. Sorry, I'm pushing buttons and messing things up. Yeah, 15 years. Where do we go here? Here we go. 15 years. How to cure it now? It's not far. Do you mean not fair? I'm not really sure what that last part means. I think the easiest answer is epigenetics. Look into, God, I always do this. The dude that's...
Bruce Lipton?
No. I did this on the last...
Oh, this is the same guy we were
It's the
talking
same
about.
dude,
God,
and I feel so bad because I love this guy.
Bruce? No.
No.
It's the other guy that's with him. Why did we... That guy needs to change his name.
Joe Dispenza.
Joe Dispenza.
Dr. Joe.
Joe Dispenza, the man. Yeah, no, he'll talk about doing meditations that can help up-regulate and down-regulate certain genes. You should check some of his work out on Gaia. He's got a lot of cool stuff. Obviously, I will make no such medical claim as to say that you can cure your diabetes, but it's worth a shot.
I'm interested that you said that you created your diabetes to stay out of school. I don't know that you've created it so much as use that as an opportunity to stay away from school. So don't. What I'm saying is don't take that burden on yourself that you created this situation and now you're trying to get out of it. Just there is a situation happening, and you have a desire to not be in this situation. So just try to visualize. I know it's hard when it's when you're suffering, it's really, really hard to say that it's not happening because it feels real when you're suffering. So I get it. But just be in acceptance of that it's here and just see yourself feeling better all the time and everything getting better all the time. And it will. It will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and blessings to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Blessings and healing.
Mm-hmm. But don't beat yourself up. You didn't, the decisions you made as a child are not the reason that you're paying these consequences now.
Carolyn says, how long would you recommend one listens to a track before switching? 3 days, 6 days, 9 days?
I always recommend 3 days, just until if you're feeling, oddly enough, if you're feeling very comfortable with it, that's when you should switch. You should switch then. If you're feeling a little bit edgy with it, then stick with it a couple of times and see if you're feeling any better. If you're having a really bad time with it, then more than likely it's too high of a frequency for you. So change to a different frequency. But I say stick with them for 3 days, unless 3 days has gone by and you're still really kind of feeling weird about it. Then you might want to stick with it a little bit longer or switch. You got to feel it out. This is an opportunity for you to get in touch with yourself. There's no right or wrong way to do this.
Do you?
I
switch that shit up as quick as I can.
Ask yourself. I mean, just sit back instead of asking me. Just sit back and go, which one should I be listening to? And you're not going to lie to yourself. Your mind is going to instantly go to the one that you want.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I'm trying to catch up in the chat here. You guys have been blowing this up. So keep blowing it up, by the way.
If you're blowing it up.
If you got
It's
questions, we will get to them.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm trying to read through.
Yeah. Thank you guys very, very much for participating. It makes it so much more fun to have you all here. Yeah.
Well, we love
Colette
the
Love says, do you guys believe in angels?
Yeah, I mean, yes. In what form do you want to talk about angels? I mean, here's an angel. Here's an angel. I like to think that I'm an angel, but do I believe in angels who are transcendent of the material world and the metaphysical world? I don't know. Possibly. Why not? I'm at a place in my life now where I'm pretty much would not question anything at this point. Like I said last time, it could start raining cows, and I would be like, okay, this is what we're doing now.
Right.
Angels is a deep subject because we can get super metaphysical with that. We can go very esoteric with that, and it all depends. And to try to answer esoteric question in a soundbite, it wouldn't do it. Give it justice. So I'd rather just avoid that one for now.
Get not esoteric and just say angels are aliens.
Oh,
but you talk about raining cows. Well, guess what drink we would have after it got done raining cows?
I can't wait.
Moonshine.
Tom Leal
He's
says
gonna be here all week.
Yeah. He'll be here all week. Tom Leal says 2 nights ago I had a dream of an alien takeover, and when I woke up it really shook me. I started to think about all that matters is my experience with my family and friends, and I felt more thankful.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Don't fall for the psyop, though. Come on now. We all know there's a psyop going on with all this. And they're pushing this. So just don't let that stuff get to you. You know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, we were all having nightmare fears about nuclear war, and now it's aliens, and then it was the diseases.
Mine was Jaws.
Oh my God.
Dun.
I remember being so scared to put my feet down in the theater because I thought the shark was going to get me underneath the movie seat. Terrifying.
Never been anything more frightening than that.
Yeah.
Jennifer Greenwood said, is Phi also chi and source? I'm going to say yes and no. Yes, in the sense of Phi is a self-organizing pattern. And so by which, it kind of is this substrate that we would refer to as chi, life force, and or source. But I think that there's also a distinction, much like we say Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. There's a distinction, like the Father is not the Son is not the Holy Spirit is not the Father. But God is all of those things. So, I think that they all have something to do with each other, but they're different aspects of maybe some other greater thing.
Yeah, and I would just like to say that don't separate Phi from something else. Like Phi is you. It's all one thing, right? And Phi is describing a balance that's taking place. So the life force or chi, as you're describing, is already coming through. But it's coming through very chaotic and very forcefully. Phi is taking that and just kind of going, whew, let's just make this all nice and smooth that out and make it all nice and balanced so that you have better control over it, or a better ability to flow with it.
Yeah, and I think to clarify, what you are calling balance is what I am calling self-organization.
There we go. That's great.
They're one and the same thing. And when I say self-organization, I'm referring to what Dan Winter talks about with self-organization. So if you guys are curious about more about that, because it's a doozy of a rabbit hole, you can go to Dan Winter's page. I think it's like phase conjugation, fractalfield.com. Go to fractalfield.com. Check out a lot of his work on phase conjugation, and that'll give you some of the technical details about all that stuff.
Dan is deep. It's going to be a lot of watching Dan to get that.
Yeah, I had to watch a good 50 hours of his videos before I understood anything that he was talking about. And I remember the first video I saw, he said a string of words that was equivalent to a paragraph, and I understood 0 words. I was just so impressed that someone knew that many words, that you could put them back to back like that. And I was like, I don't know what one word you just said was. But no, he's great. He's super intelligent. He does a lot of work on what we refer to Phi, or what he will call golden ratio physics, or plasma implosion, etc.
And I think of the Tao Te Ching, where it says, if it basically just says a lot of these things are just unspeakable, and if you speak it, you kind of show that you don't know it.
But that was written by Lao Tzu, who wrote 5,000 words about the Tao.
Right. But
Yes.
So everything is a paradox. Everything's a contradiction. Everything's a paradox.
Those who know do not speak. Those
speak.
who speak do not know. Written by the man who wrote 5,000 words about that subject.
Yeah.
Who is brilliant, by the way, of course.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah.
genius, but I'm just playing. You know.
No, it's just
it's a beautiful irony.
It's the irony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carolyn, again in the chat, says...
What's up, Carolyn?
Yes, says, I feel the Phi music is accelerating the awakening and awareness. Yes, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
That's the idea. That's what we want. That's what we want to help empower people, help people.
It's fractal of what's happening. This is happening because it's a fractal reflection of what's happening.
And it's interesting when you'll get whatever trip people are on, you'll get people that will be negative or criticize the experience, or say, oh, this sucks, or this crap, or whatever. And I try to answer back with just a lot of love and patience, and just say, you're an idiot. No, I don't say that. I say, listen, you've got to give these things some time, because they might not feel good the first time you listen to them, and maybe explain a little bit about what's going on there, Ford, because that might be for people who are new here.
Yeah,
they might be too discouraged and not pushed through.
If you're new here, you're going to be out of balance naturally. I mean, that's just part of it. Unless you meditate a lot or really work on yourself a lot, you're naturally going to be out of balance.
Heck, we're
out of balance.
We work on this stuff all the time, and we're out of balance.
Yeah.
So.
But if you've never done it before, it's going to be particularly out of balance, and you should just start with a really easy frequency that is just kind of easy, will ease you into it. It's kind of like walking in the shallow end and just grazing in there slowly. But don't get discouraged by it. If you read 100,000 comments about everybody talking about how they slept so well, and you're upset that you didn't have that experience, that's okay. Just start with a lower frequency. A lot of the third eye, for example, is very, very popular because people have lucid dreams on it. So it went viral, and anything associated with the third eye people are into. But it's level number 6 out of 7 levels. So a lot of people start with that one, and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm freaking out," or "It's too much, it's too intense." Just go down a level, go down a couple levels.
I think another thing that might be nice to explain is a lot of people will they'll comment that they're uncomfortable with a lot of the different small noises or pops or cracks, and explain that those are, there's a method to the madness. So I think let's explain those a little bit.
Yeah, the method to the madness is just to keep you in the hypnagogic state, which is a state that is not quite sleeping and not quite fully awake. And we do that by every few seconds or so, just kind of dropping a little ASMR type of signifier that gently nudges you into a wakeful state. But it's not fully awake because you're pretty deep. So it's kind of keeping you in the state of, imagine a line going across, right? And you're slightly awake and then slightly asleep, slightly awake, slightly asleep. And then as you're following that pattern, we start lowering the bar into a deeper sleep. And it induces lucid dreaming is what happens. When you keep somebody in that state, they start to have a lucid dream, which is a state of dreaming where you're consciously aware that you're dreaming. So we normally have a dream, and we are a participant of the dream, and we're in the dream. And like Mike is saying, not to suggest that he was having a dream, but when you're in a dream, you just accept things as they are. The dream is your life, and whatever crazy shit is going on, you're still like, okay, yeah, totally normal that I have to carry this badger over across this river to give it to the woman who lives in that castle. That makes perfect sense when you're dreaming, But lucid dreaming allows you to have that experience with your rational waking state of a conscious mind. And if you're lucky enough, you can grab it just long enough to take control of your dream. But for most people, especially in the beginning, just becoming aware that they're dreaming is enough to snap them out of the dream. It's a lot of fun. You can do crazy things with it.
And what would you say to those that comment, I listened for the first hour and I really loved this music, and all of a sudden the music went away and it just went to rain, and they kind of feel like they've been gypped? But tell them why that cycle changes, and what's the thought and logic behind that?
The logic behind that is because it's very intense for most people. So an hour is really all you need. I mean, obviously, the longer you can listen to the music, the better. But for a lot of people, an hour is already very, very intense. So at an hour into it, the music changes to rain, which has got some subtle delta waves underneath to help keep you asleep. But if you can handle the intensity of it and you want the music to play all night, then there are versions available on our channel that have 8 and 9 hours worth of music. But just know they're intense, and, they're intense. If they're too much for you, go back to the ones that are just an hour long with rain at the end, That'll do it. But if you can handle it, definitely do the 8 and 9 hour ones. Those are definitely going to be more beneficial to you, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And to get to some questions, Shells said, who is he talking about? I was talking about Dan Winter.
Yeah, Dan Winter.
The man, the myth, and the legend, Dan Winter. But we talk about other people too. So if there's other people that you're interested in checking out.
Ken Wheeler at Theoria Apotheosis.
Mm-hmm.
And Robert Edward Grant.
Yep.
Right. And
Robert J. Gilbert.
Robert J. Gilbert. Awesome.
He's another one.
Yeah. The Mind of God.
Yeah. I love his geometry
He's
stuff.
great. Yeah.
And then
Billy Carson.
Billy
a lot of great
Carson.
stuff. Yeah, a lot of people talk
Tom Campbell.
Tom
Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Campbell. We pull from a lot of different stuff. It's not just math. It's not just philosophy. It's not just science. It's all those things because they all have something in common.
But then on the lighter side, Ram Dass, Alan Watts.
Yeah. On the more spiritual side,
because we can't take life so serious,
No, you can't. Definitely not. Yeah, those guys are like great teachers,
Like I predict the next Reiki session that Mike has, Dan Winter's going to be over him. And
Mike, your heart
symbols.
is phase conjugation.
Yeah.
We need to bring you back closer to the dipole.
I'm trying to get some of that phase conjugation.
We need some of that dipole implosion happening, and it's not happening. It's exploding, Mike.
It's exploding. I think I'd die if my heart exploded, but imploding is a little different. The gaming hobbyist says, so what about lucid dreams that are like Inception, where you only become aware of the third level in, second time waking up and being aware you've been sleeping 2 cycles before? I'm not even really following that one.
I would say that the levels are irrelevant because you are already in, if you ask me, you're already in so many levels of dreaming that you can't even count them. It would be pointless to count them. You're in a dream within a dream within a dream forever. And that is the fractal nature of life. You're never not dreaming.
Oh, the gaming oboist. That's how you say it. I was like, I don't know.
Oh, okay. You got your
Her name is a gaming oboist, not gaming obvious.
You play the oboe? Oh, I love
music.
Hey, here's a question for you. Do they make oboes that can be tuned to 432?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Is that possible?
That'd be great. I love the way the oboe sounds. Such a beautiful instrument.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite instrument.
And if it can, you want to come to Atlanta?
Yeah, record some music.
We would love to record you.
Yeah.
I'd love to. It'd be awesome. We said we weren't going to go for 2 hours, and we've almost gone 2 hours.
I know. We're going to wrap it up. If you guys got any last-minute questions, throw them in the chat. Now's your time.
I think it's a bit ironic that we stay up way past people's bedtime talking about putting them to sleep.
It is. It's a perfect
irony.
irony.
The irony in that?
Perfect irony.
We should be, when the sun goes down and you're on the circadian rhythms, which we should be.
Do you know how ironic it is that it's an EDM producer making sleep music?
Yeah, dude. So funny.
Half my life I spent getting you to shake your ass, and now I'm like, all right, it's time for bed.
And never go to sleep.
Time for bed.
Stay up for days. Go to sleep.
Shell says, I am wondering what sort of experiences one would have with Phi music during hypnosis sessions. We're wondering some of the same stuff too.
Yeah. It probably would be incredible. Maybe.
Or very counterintuitive, one or the other. It'd probably really help it or really just be not good at all.
Yeah. There's so much we don't know. Like there's so many questions we have, and here's the crazy part. I'm pretty sure that Mike and I are the only ones in the world doing this to this degree. There's a lot of people doing this, but I think that we've kind of got a methodology that is really, really incredible.
And it's so new.
It's so
That's
new.
why we don't even know. It's like we built an atom bomb and don't even know that it's an atom bomb.
Perfect example. Like we're all talking about these weird things that are happening. Like lately, I've been seeing in 3D. So I see two-dimensional images. I mentioned this before. A lot of times they will look 3D to me. Like, what is that? What's causing that? It's a weird thing, and it's intensified after I've been working on these in a huge way. So like there's all kinds of stuff we don't know. We were talking the other day about making a 5D one, and we were just kind of like, well, what would that do? Like, would that open some sort of portal? Like, we don't even know what that would do, you know?
Yeah, no idea.
Well, I just love that this, Phi Tribe, this is the place where, all the misfit toys can come and hang out, and we can all be different and not give each other shit and just say, yeah, come join the party and be different and be unique and bring a perspective to us, but also feel safe. We're not going to attack each other. We don't see people attacking. You see a few toxic people that come through here, but most of the time, you guys in Phi Tribe are beautiful and loving towards each other, and that inspires us. That really inspires me. You cause me to be a better version of myself because I want to stand up to your standard. So I want to thank everybody who does participate and comment. And
yeah, thank you
we're
guys.
really
Thank
grateful
you
for you.
Thank you. Yeah. And I don't really see too much of the idiots in the comments. Most people are very genuine and nice and loving and supporting of each other. I love finding these branches where I didn't even see the comment, and then there's like 15 people helping somebody in need, and it's just like, oh, it's so beautiful.
That is beautiful.
And like I said in the beginning of this, that Phi, that love is so powerful that the toxic stuff just doesn't resonate here. It's like oil and water. It just doesn't mix, so it doesn't come around the Phi.
Yeah.
And we never. I've never. I don't think we've never just erased a comment.
No, I mean maybe 3 times I've erased a comment that was just completely terrible. But
Okay.
but no, I leave them because they end up just looking like idiots, and everyone else attacks them for me, so I don't have to do anything. It's great.
We got someone that says, hey, I just want to say hi. I'm new here. Love and greets from Germany.
Welcome
I
to Germany.
couldn't sleep the whole night, so I searched for some of your solfeggio frequencies. So here I am listening to you. Well, we
Danke.
appreciate you.
Danke.
Wunderbar.
But don't listen to us. Just put the music on and go to bed. Go to bed. Go to sleep.
It's time to go to work if he's in Germany.
Yeah,
it's
I was
time
about to
get
say.
up. Jeez.
Let's see. Oh, hold on. Oh, I feel bad. Gaming oboist. Did I refer to you as a female? Your picture on the chat looks like it looks like a girl with blue hair, but I just clicked on your thing and I realized it's you in a banana suit. So my bad, homie.
We don't care about gender here. It's not a
No,
thing.
we don't. No, we don't. But at any rate, he says that, well, actually, it should be possible since the tuning for A he typically tunes to is 440. There's a way to, technically speaking, there should be a way to tune it to 432.
Interesting. That's super cool.
So, yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. It's
Yeah.
definitely good to know. He says he's also a pianist.
Oh,
and,
right on. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And jazz trumpet. Okay.
Is
All
he?
right,
Is he
now
a
you're
game?
just showing off.
Does he also play games? Video games.
I would think so. I would think so.
Okay.
I would hope so. I'd hope he plays games. Well,
we're about to call it because it's. We've been
I think we're
almost
going to
2
call
hours.
it. I think we're going to call it because we swore we were not going to go more than an hour and a half. And here we are. An
still
hour
not gonna
45 later.
Yes.
But you know what? We appreciate y'all for coming and hanging out with us. We love you guys. And we are going to be doing this again next week. Same time, 10 p.m. Also, please take the opportunity to go follow us on all of our socials, Instagram at Phi Tribe 369, as well as Twitter. What is that, Phi Tribe Music? Or is it Phi Tribe 369?
Twitter's Phi Tribe.
Okay, Twitter's Phi Tribe.
TikTok is Phi Tribe 369.
Is it that or is it music?
Oh, Phi Tribe Music on
We're going to
TikTok.
get them all the same, so it's
darn
not so confusing.
We're
for
gonna
you
write-
guys.
we're gonna write them
I'm so
down.
sorry. I totally screwed it up. Sorry about that.
We're going to write them down on our hands or something so we can.
So let me reiterate: Instagram, Phi Tribe 369, TikTok, Phi Tribe Music, and
Phi Tribe on Twitter.
Phi Tribe on Twitter. So catch us there.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys very much for coming.
If you see Brandon Thomas, tell him we said hello.
Yeah.
He was in the chat a little bit ago.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah. I don't think he's there now.
Get some
but he
sleep.
was in
Get
the
some
chat.
sleep, brother.
Yeah, you guys go turn on some Phi Tribe. Go to sleep.
Right
See ya.
on.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Good night.
Bye-bye.